Capricorn, if you've been carrying financial pressure in silence, holding everything together while no one really sees how heavy it's been, this message is for you. Something is shifting now, not luck, not chaos, a real money shift, built on everything you've endured. This is the season where your effort finally starts paying you back, where stability replaces survival, and money begins to move with you, not against you. If you're ready to receive this new chapter, type "I receive" in the comments. Let that intention be heard. Stay with me, because what's opening for you now is much bigger than you think. Capricorn, let me talk to you for a moment. Just you, not the world, not the noise around you. I know how long you've been holding it together, not loudly, not for attention, but quietly, day after day. There were nights when your mind wouldn't rest, not because you didn't try, but because responsibility kept tapping you on the shoulder. Bills, plans, people who depend on you. You became the strong one by default, the reliable one, the one who figures it out. And even when money felt tight, even when progress felt slow, you still showed up, still worked, still pushed forward. That kind of pressure doesn't always show on the outside, but it lives in the chest, in the breath, in the quiet moments when you finally sit down and feel how tired your body really is. You might have wondered why it all felt heavier than it should, why nothing ever felt simple, why rest felt undeserved, and yet, here you are, still standing, still moving. That matters more than you realize. Because what you've been walking through was never meant to break you. It was shaping something steadier, something stronger. You were learning what it costs to carry responsibility without collapsing. You were learning the difference between surviving and building a life that can actually hold you. There's a moment, Capricorn, when effort quietly shifts into momentum. It doesn't announce itself. It doesn't arrive with fireworks. It arrives as relief in the chest, as clarity in the mind, as a subtle sense that something has loosened its grip. That's where you are now. The pressure you've been under has already done its work. The weight that taught you discipline and patience and endurance is no longer meant to sit on your shoulders. You don't need to fight harder. You don't need to prove anything. You've already paid your dues. And this is important, so hear it clearly. What comes next isn't about pushing. It's about allowing stability to finally meet you halfway. Money energy changes when you stop carrying it alone. When effort is no longer fueled by fear, but by alignment. You may start to notice that decisions feel easier, that solutions appear without strain, that opportunities don't demand exhaustion anymore. That's not coincidence, that's timing. And if part of you still hesitates, waits for the other shoe to drop, that's okay. You've earned that caution. Just don't confuse caution with staying stuck in an old chapter, because the version of you who struggled did their job. They got you here. Now, something else begins to breathe through your life, quietly, steadily, like the first calm morning after a long storm. Take a breath here and stay with me. There's more unfolding than you've been able to see so far. And you know, there was a reason it felt like things weren't moving for so long. Not because you lacked ability, not because you weren't smart enough, not because you didn't work hard enough. It was never that. You've always had the skill, the discipline, the vision to see 10 steps ahead. But somewhere along the way, you started carrying more than what was yours to carry. You became the one who holds it all together, the one who plans for every possible outcome, the one who thinks if I don't stay alert, everything could fall apart. And that kind of mindset keeps you strong, but it also keeps you tense. There were moments when you couldn't fully relax, not even on good days, because part of you was always scanning the horizon. What if something goes wrong? What if money slows down? What if stability disappears? So you stayed prepared, always ready, always braced. That constant readiness creates pressure in ways most people never see. It slows decisions, not because you're unsure, but because you're trying to make the perfect one. It slows money, not because abundance isn't available, but because your energy has been locked in protection mode. When you live in survival long enough, even success can feel unsafe, and that's exhausting. There's a quiet truth here that deserves to be spoken gently. You weren't stuck. You were buffering. Your life was gathering strength behind the scenes, building structure, testing your limits, making sure that when things finally move, they don't collapse under their own weight. Capricorn energy is built for longevity, not shortcuts, not quick wins that fade. You were learning how to hold more without losing yourself in the process. And yes, that meant moments of frustration, moments where progress felt delayed, moments where your mind never fully rested. But none of that was wasted. Every cautious step, every late night's calculation, every responsibility you took seriously was shaping your capacity. There comes a point when being overly guarded is no longer necessary, when the system you built can stand on its own. That's the subtle shift happening now. You may feel it as a soft release, a sense that you don't have to grip so tightly anymore. That control can loosen without everything falling apart. And here's something important to sit with. If things had moved faster before, you might not have trusted them. You might not have believed they would last. But now your nervous system knows endurance. Your mind knows strategy. Your soul knows patience. So when opportunity opens, it doesn't overwhelm you. It meets you where you are. This isn't failure being corrected. This is preparation reaching its moment. Take a breath here. Notice how your shoulders feel. Notice how your thoughts slow down just a little. There's no rush now. Something steadier is stepping in. Something that doesn't require constant vigilance. Something that allows you to move forward without fear driving every choice. And as that ease settles in, a different kind of clarity begins to surface. The kind that changes how you value yourself, how you price your time, how you decide what you will and will not carry anymore. Stay with that feeling. It's guiding you somewhere important. There's a moment that happens quietly, no announcement, no applause. It usually comes late at night, when you finally slow down enough to hear your own thoughts without interruption. You start remembering how much you've given. Not in a dramatic way, just honestly. The years you stayed when it would have been easier to leave. The effort you poured in without asking to be seen. The times you chose responsibility over comfort, over rest, over yourself. And something inside you pauses, not anger, not regret, just a soft realization. I have given enough. You don't say it out loud at first. You let it sit. You test how it feels in your chest, and then it becomes clear. You were never asking for too much. You were accepting too little. That awareness changes everything for a Capricorn, because once you see your own value clearly, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice where your energy leaks, where your time goes without return, where effort is expected but appreciation is absent, and instead of pushing harder, you pull back. Just a little, not from discipline, from self-respect. You stop over-explaining your worth. You stop proving your dedication through exhaustion. You stop mistaking struggle for loyalty. There is strength in that restraint. You may feel it as a quiet boundary forming, not a wall, a line. This is where I give, this is where I stop, and here's the part no one tells you. Money listens to that shift. When you stop underpricing yourself, life adjusts the exchange. Opportunities begin to change shape. Conversations carry a different tone. You're met with respect instead of expectation. Not because you demanded it, but because you finally believed it. This isn't ego, it's alignment. You're no longer operating from survival. You're operating from self-trust. And that affects everything. How you negotiate, how you choose, how you walk away without guilt. You may notice that effort feels lighter now. Not because you're doing less, but because you're no longer draining yourself to be worthy. There's a calm confidence that settles in, the kind that doesn't rush, the kind that knows timing works in your favor. You begin to sense that the work you do, the value you bring, the stability you create, actually has weight in the world, and that weight deserves compensation, not someday, now. Take a breath here. Feel how different that truth lands when you're not afraid of it. This is not about becoming harder, it's about becoming clearer. Clear about what you offer, clear about what you expect in return, clear about the kind of life you are building step by step. And as that clarity settles into your body, something subtle shifts around you. Doors don't need to be forced anymore. They respond. Stay with that feeling. There's a rhythm forming now, and it's leading you somewhere steady. And then something practical begins to happen, quietly, almost without drama. You start to notice that money no longer feels frozen in place. It does not rush in. It does not overwhelm. It simply begins to move, like a river that was blocked by debris for a long time. Not dry, not gone, just waiting for the pressure to ease. This shift is not luck falling from the sky. You would never trust that anyway. You need proof, structure, a reason that makes sense. And this does, because the movement you are feeling now comes from work already done, from effort that has been building quietly behind you, from systems you put in place even when no one was watching. You did not skip steps. You did not cut corners. You stayed consistent when it felt unrewarded. That matters. So when money begins to respond, it feels different this time. Calmer, cleaner. It does not come with panic. It does not come with fear of losing it. It comes with a sense of recognition. Like the world finally saying, "I see what you have built." You may notice it first as relief. Bills that no longer feel threatening. Choices that no longer feel impossible. A little more space to breathe between obligations. Then clarity follows. An opportunity appears that fits your life instead of consuming it. A conversation turns in your favor. An offer lands that respects your time. Nothing flashy, just solid. That is how Capricorn abundance works. This is the kind of money shift that allows you to sleep better at night. That lets your shoulders drop. That doesn't ask you to sacrifice your health or your values to keep it. You may feel surprised by how natural it feels, as if this was always meant to arrive once you stopped questioning your worth. And here is something important to hear. When money starts moving this way, it is not asking you to become someone else. It is responding to who you already are. Your patience, your discipline, your ability to see long term. Those traits are finally being rewarded instead of tested. You might still move carefully, that is part of you, but now there is trust underneath the caution. Trust that you can handle growth. Trust that stability does not have to be fragile. Trust that receiving does not mean losing control. Pause for a moment here. Notice how different this feels from past cycles of striving. This is not chasing, this is alignment. The work you do begins to feel cleaner. The exchange feels fairer. Your time feels respected. And as this steadiness settles in, your mind opens to a wider horizon. You begin to think beyond survival, beyond the next bill, beyond constant calculation. You start imagining comfort, security that lasts, a future that feels supported instead of strained. That imagination is not wishful thinking. It is response. Response to a life that is finally catching up to the effort you gave it. Let yourself stay in this moment, this calm sense of momentum, this grounded optimism. There is more unfolding from here, and it is arriving with intention. Of course, here is the continuation, kept in the same living current, slow, warm, late-night radio, spoken to one Capricorn and only one. And as the money steadies, something even more important begins to soften inside you, your mind. Not all at once, just enough for you to notice. The constant background noise starts to fade, that low hum of worry you carried everywhere, the quiet fear of what if it runs out? What if I misstep? What if I have to start over again? It loosens. You realize you are no longer calculating every breath, no longer bracing for the next hit, no longer living in that tight space where survival dictates every move. Your nervous system finally exhales, and with that breath, clarity returns. Decisions stop feeling like traps. You choose because it feels right, not because you are afraid of choosing wrong. You begin to trust yourself again, not in a loud way, in a grounded way. The kind of trust that comes from knowing you have handled worse and still kept going. There is a subtle confidence that rises now, not arrogance, not ego, a quiet pride. You look at your life and you can finally say, I built this. Not perfectly, not without cost, but honestly. That recognition changes how you move, how you speak, how you show up. You stop shrinking your goals to feel safe. You stop apologizing for wanting stability. You stop pretending you do not care about money, when in truth you care deeply about what it provides. Security, choice, peace. You begin to understand that wanting those things does not make you cold. It makes you responsible, and that responsibility is no longer heavy. It fits you now. You may notice moments where gratitude catches you off guard. Simple moments, paying a bill without tension, planning ahead without panic, allowing yourself something nice without guilt, following close behind. These are signs of freedom, partial at first, but real. You are no longer operating from fear of loss. You are operating from confidence in your ability to sustain, and that shift changes the future quietly but permanently. This is where survival gives way to construction, where you stop just getting through the month and start shaping the years ahead. You think differently now, longer, wider. You imagine comfort that lasts, not excess, not chaos. just a life that supports you the way you have supported everyone else. Pause here for a moment. Feel how steady this version of you is, how present, how calm. This is not a peak moment, it is a foundation. And foundations do not shout, they hold. As you settle into this steadiness, something else begins to take form. A sense that what you are building is not only for you, that your strength is creating stability that others can feel too. Stay with that awareness. It carries more meaning than you realize. And there is something else you carry close to your heart, something deeper than ambition, deeper than success. Home. Not just a place, a feeling, safety, continuity. You have always thought in terms of tomorrow, of what needs to be protected, of who needs to be held steady when the world feels uncertain, even when no one asked you to, even when it was heavy. You became the one who plans ahead, who worries quietly so others do not have to, who makes sure the ground beneath everyone stays solid. That instinct was never accidental. It is part of how you love. And now, that effort begins to show in tangible ways. Not rushed, not dramatic, just solid improvement. You may notice your space feeling calmer, more intentional, a place that reflects who you have become, not who you were struggling to survive as. Maybe it shows up as a decision you have been postponing, a repair finally handled, a room that feels lighter, a home that feels like it can breathe again. These changes are not about appearance, they are about peace. When your environment steadies, your body responds. Your mind rests easier, your heart opens. Family energy softens too. Conversations feel warmer, moments feel more present. There is less tension around money, less unspoken worry hovering in the background. You begin to realize that what you are creating is not just comfort, it is continuity. A life that can support people you love without draining you in the process. This is where your Capricorn strength truly shines, not in sacrifice, but in structure. You are building something that lasts, something that does not collapse when things get difficult. And perhaps for the first time, you allow yourself to enjoy that realization. You allow yourself to feel proud without dismissing it, without minimizing it. You are not just holding things together anymore, you are improving them. That shift matters. Because when a Capricorn feels secure at home, everything else aligns more easily. Work flows better. Rest becomes real. Decisions come from clarity, not pressure. You may sense a new kind of warmth settling in, a feeling that life is no longer asking you to prove your worth through constant endurance. It is responding to what you have already built. Pause for a moment. Picture the future you are shaping, not flashy, not extravagant, just steady, supportive, full of quiet moments where you feel safe. That vision is not far away. It is forming now, with every grounded choice you make. And as that sense of stability deepens, something unexpected happens. You begin to notice how your growth affects others, how your calm becomes contagious, how your steadiness changes the energy in the room. You are not just creating a foundation for yourself, you are offering something rare to the world. Consistency, reliability, care that does not ask for recognition. Stay with that feeling. There is a quiet impact unfolding through you, and it is reaching further than you know. There's a subtle moment when people start to notice you differently. They don't announce it, they don't always say it out loud, but you feel it. The tone shifts, the questions change, the pauses grow longer when your name comes up. It happens because you didn't rise loudly, you didn't make a scene, you didn't ask to be acknowledged, you simply kept going, and that confuses people. Some remember the version of you who was under pressure, the one carrying weight quietly, the one they assumed would always struggle a little longer. Others remember doubting you, not openly, just enough to keep their expectations low. And then, there are those who never imagined you would make it past that season at all. But here you are, still steady, still composed, still moving upward. There's something powerful about success that arrives without noise. It doesn't seek approval, it doesn't explain itself. It just exists. Your progress shows in the way you speak now. Calmer, more precise, less defensive. It shows in the way you move through rooms, not rushing, not shrinking. You don't try to convince anyone anymore. You don't feel the need, because results speak in a language that needs no translation. Some people will feel surprised, others will feel unsettled. A few may quietly reassess how they saw you before. That's not your responsibility. Your responsibility was never to prove them wrong. It was to stay aligned with your own path even when no one was clapping, and you did that. You climbed when it was quiet, when there were no witnesses, when the only reward was knowing you did not quit on yourself. That kind of growth changes a person. It teaches patience without bitterness, confidence without arrogance, strength without hardness. You may notice that praise lands differently now. It doesn't inflate you, it doesn't define you. It simply passes through like confirmation of something you already knew. There is dignity in that. You understand that not everyone will celebrate your progress, and that's fine, because you didn't build this life for validation. You built it for stability, for meaning, for longevity. The higher you go, the quieter your need to explain becomes. You trust your process now. You trust your timing. You trust that your work will continue to speak for you long after conversations fade. Pause here. Feel how solid that confidence is, how grounded, how unshakable. This is not a peak moment that disappears tomorrow. It's a pattern that continues, and as you move forward with that steadiness, you may begin to notice something else. A sense that your journey is no longer just about you, that your resilience offers reassurance to others, that your consistency becomes a quiet example of what is possible without shortcuts. You don't need to say anything about it. Just keep moving the way you always have, with intention, with integrity, with eyes on the horizon. There is still more unfolding around you, and it is meeting you exactly where you stand. And now, Capricorn, there is a different quality in the air around you. You may not have named it yet, but you can feel it. Life feels a little more spacious. Your breath goes deeper without effort. The days no longer feel like something you must endure just to reach the end of them. This is what a richer season actually feels like. Not excess, not chaos, not constant motion, but ease. Money begins to grow in a way that feels natural, not forced, not chased. It grows because the ground is finally ready for it. Your mind rests more often now, not because problems vanished, but because you trust yourself to handle them. That trust is priceless. You no longer wake up with urgency pressing on your chest. You move through your day with intention instead of reaction. There is a quiet rhythm forming. Work fits into your life instead of consuming it. Rest becomes real instead of something postponed. You start to notice how much lighter you feel when you stop punishing yourself for wanting comfort, for wanting stability, for wanting a life that supports you. That old belief that struggle equals worth begins to dissolve, and in its place something gentler takes root. You understand now that abundance does not demand suffering, it responds to balance. You did not lose your discipline, you refined it. You did not abandon responsibility, you learned how to share its weight. That is why what comes to you now stays with you, because it is built on wisdom, not sacrifice. There may still be moments when you catch yourself bracing out of habit. That is okay. Years of pressure do not disappear overnight, but each time you choose calm over fear, you teach your body a new language, a language of sufficiency, of trust, of knowing that you are no longer alone in carrying your future. This season rewards you not only for how hard you worked, but for how deeply you changed. You learned to stop overextending, to stop proving, to stop measuring your value by how much you could endure. That lesson matters far beyond money. It shapes the way you love, the way you lead, the way you show up for others without disappearing yourself. You are allowed to enjoy what you built. You are allowed to feel proud without rushing past it. You are allowed to receive without apology. Take a moment here. Feel how grounded you are, how present, how steady. This is not a finish line. It is a way of living that finally fits you. And as you continue forward with this calmer mind and this stronger sense of self, life responds in kind. Opportunities align, resources multiply, peace becomes familiar. Stay with this feeling. Let it guide your choices. Let it shape your days. Because this is not a temporary high. This is a season you earn by learning how to be kind to yourself. And it is only just beginning. Before you go, Capricorn, let me leave you with this. Nothing in your life is late. Nothing meaningful was wasted. Every season you walked through prepared you for the stability you are stepping into now. You are not becoming someone new. You are finally allowing yourself to live as who you already are. If this message settled into your chest tonight, if it brought you even a moment of calm, or reminded you that you are not alone on this path, take a second and let it be known. Type "I receive" in the comments. Not for anyone else, just for you. And if you want to stay connected to this energy, to this steady Capricorn rhythm of growth and healing, make sure you subscribe. There is more coming. Messages meant to meet you right where you are. Trust yourself. Trust the timing of your life. You are building something that lasts. The journey does not end here. Another message is already on its way. Until then, take good care of yourself and keep moving forward with the quiet strength that defines you. Good night, Capricorn.